Madam President.
The senator from Nebraska.
Thank you, Madam President. Agriculture is a critical part of Nebraska's economy. It accounts for roughly $25.7 billion of Nebraska's gross state product. That's a little less than a quarter of our state's overall GDP. Nearly 1 in 4 jobs in the state are tied to agriculture. That economic output is important because thanks to states like Nebraska, hardworking family farmers and ranchers produce a wide variety of products that keep our grocery stores stocked and help to feed the world. But our nation's agricultural bounty doesn't do anyone much good if it can't get to market. And that's where our complex transportation and infrastructure system comes into play. The railroad industry in particular has a big role in bringing agricultural products to locations across the United States. That includes ports, where they can then be shipped to locations around the world. Whether it's grain or soybeans, railroads provide the means to affordably move thousands of tons of goods to where they need to go. It's estimated that rail delivers 1.6 million carloads of agricultural products a year. And that's why I am deeply concerned about the potential for a rail shutdown later this week. I think it's very important that people understand what kind of economic impact such a shutdown would have and how it would upend our nation's agricultural sector. The consequences would be devastating. When agricultural products can't be transported, there will be price hikes and there will be shortages. Our international exports of commodities like corn, soy, wheat, of which a large share move by rail, will fall dramatically. Fertilizer prices, an already expensive input due to inflation, will further skyrocket. The mere prospect of a shutdown on Friday means fertilizer and other hazardous materials have already started to be removed from the rail networks on September 12th. Biofuel plants could be forced to scale down operations or completely shut down. I would also point out that we have harvest coming up in Nebraska. Family farmers in my state, many of whom are grappling with rapidly rising input costs, well, they need a good harvest season. And if rail service isn't feasible, that possibility, it could go out the window. Grain elevators, for example, could run out of storage and be unable to accept additional commodities. Family farmers and ranchers will lose critical revenue streams. The bottom line is, if rail shuts down, our entire agricultural system shuts down. It's that simple. All of this economic chaos would come on top of extreme inflation. Today's numbers put grocery prices up 13.5% over last year. Think about the toll this out-of-control inflation is taking on our working-class families. Then there's the international turmoil. Russia's horrific invasion of Ukraine has dramatically curtailed the flow of grain, which in turn has exacerbated food insecurity in Africa and the Middle East. And the war has also further strained the fertilizer supply chain. All of this is to say that the stakes of these rail negotiations couldn't be higher. 9 of the 12 labor unions in the rail sector have been able to utilize the President Emergency Board recommendations to come to an agreement. I'd note that the board is composed of neutral, impartial individuals appointed by President Biden. Their recommendations are widely seen as benefiting all parties. It's critical that the remaining labor unions and the rail industry use those recommendations to reach an agreement as soon as possible. Our entire agricultural system is at stake here. The economic welfare of the American people is at stake here. And the global food security is also at stake here. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.